What's happening, guys? Hope your day's going well. Today we're going to review Peak Performance Labs CELLFLO6. It says on here, skin tearing pump formula for blood flow, muscle recovery, endurance, and overall health. What's the deal with this supplement? If you're new to the channel, my name is David. This is a mission to muscle, because not only is training important, recovery, and sleep, but the supplements we choose to throw into our regimen. So I'm here to review them for you guys, go over the ingredients, and give you guys the effects on this stuff. So jumping right into CELLFLO6. This is, well, it says CELLFLO right here on the bottle, but this is basically CELLFLO6. This is an extract of green tea, and I call this the destroyer of pump destroyers. So if you want to know what I mean by that, hang around for a second here. We're going to get into this real quick, because I'm not just going to deliver you this had fantastic pumps, because here's the thing. When it comes to pumps, we're all different. Some of us might have some sort, might be just a little bit, might be a lot of endothelial dysfunction, which is a dysfunction of the cardiovascular system and the way it actually dilates and constricts. And what we do is we cause vasorestriction, especially dismissing the muscle, stimulants, not enough water, just pounding ourselves out in the gym, spiking noradrenaline and adrenaline. All these facets are going to cause the release of endothelial 1 in the blood vessels, and which is going to cause vasorestriction, and angiotensin 1 turning into angiotensin 2, which are two main chemical reactions within the endothelial tissue that causes vasorestriction, the restriction of the blood vessels. This particular ingredient has oligomers in it. What I mean by oligomers, what are oligomers? We're going to explain this a little bit as quick as I can, and try to make it as understandable. So oligomers are polymers. So if you're familiar with science a little bit, we have monomers and polymers. And polymers, as far as when we're dealing with the cells, are cells that are connected together, or what can I say, chemicals that are attached to one another. So oligomers are small polymer structures. So they can polymer structures can be super long. The smaller they are, the better absorbed they are. So these are small, absorbable elements that can pass the cell wall and react in the body a lot easier. And this is procyanidins. And procyanidins consist of polyphenols, which are fabulous antioxidants, have been shown to release NO within the endothelial tissue, catechins, epicatechins, and galated epicatechins. So galated epicatechins, just so you know, is gallic acid attached to the epicatechin, and it allows for better absorption for that particular molecule. So all these ingredients have been shown in studies, and even if you pick them out individually, to cause the endothelial tissue to release NO to cause vasodilation. Now, this does not work off the arginine pathway. It does not work off of the nitrate pathway. And if you do the research on all of these ingredients, except the polyphenols, I don't know if they react or stop the release of endothelial 1 and angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2, but catechins have been studied to do this, and epicatechins. So that's why I call this the destroyer of pump destroyers. By our own freaking means sometimes, because we're stimulating ourselves too much, we're spiking too much noradrenaline and adrenaline, and we're pounding ourselves out in the gym, causing some sort of endothelial dysfunction. And this endothelial dysfunction is why you may see a review by one of my homies out there, any number of 4, 5, 6 of them, the reviewers out there that might review a pump product and have massive vasodilation and massive pumps, and then you go by it and you're like, that guy's full of shit. But he's not. Basically, he's reacting differently to the pump ingredient. So, getting into the effects on this, CELLFLO6. And I didn't put the ingredient profile up. This is by Peak Performance Labs. Put it right in front of me because you guys want to see the amounts in this thing. This is 3 capsules for 1 gram. Fantastic price. You're not going to find any product out there that's going to give you 1 gram in 1 dose with how many servings? Geez, 28 servings. So I'm going to tell you guys how I took this, because you can make this last a little longer, because you don't really need 1 whole gram of this to have the effects that you want, because most of you, I'm just being honest with you, most of you are not going to take this on its own. You're going to stack this. So we'll get into the effects real quick. We have, this talks about overall health. I'm going to get that out of the way real quick. This has been claimed through the studies. I got a chance to look at the research paper. So this claims to have some kind of insulin receptor signaling to it, and I do notice, because I split my dose up to where I took it after my training, and this helped with the post-workout meal as far as me handling insulin as a type 1 diabetic. It did bring my levels down a lot quicker after training. So I do notice it does that. It's supposed to have also a adrenaline and noradrenaline effect in the brain, to where it brings the adrenaline, noradrenaline down, so it's like a reuptake type effect. So this can possibly negate, sorry for that pause there, trying to think of the right word, the effects of some of the Stim Junkie pre-workouts out there. Possibly for the good, but if you guys like the upscaled heart rate, if you guys like the high adrenaline and noradrenaline kick in the brain with the little bit of sides, then you don't want to take this at full dose with that particular product, because this will just damper that down a little bit at a full gram. I'm gonna let you guys know my effects here. Getting into the endurance here, 2 weeks taking this. So I've been taking this for 2 weeks. I'd say 4 days ago, I started to notice throughout the day more cellular energy. And I've noticed that with other products, as I've taken them for a long period of time, that extra energy kick on a cellular level. So this is supposed to have effects with cellular function as well when you get into the claims. The muscle recovery, I'd say after about a week of taking this, I started noticing better recovery. I'd say a little bit sooner after training. It just kind of built more and more. So that kind of comes along with the extracellular energy after training. I train in the morning, and I am just moving and feeling really good throughout the day. The recovery is more a cellular-based recovery. So it goes along with that endurance, where you have more muscle endurance throughout the day, and I started noticing it within my training as well. And then blood flow on this on its own, I took this at 2 caps and 3 caps, and on its own it's a tight pump with some vasodilation. So it's not crazy skin tearing pumps, but everybody's going to react different to this thing. I reacted to this just like I did with Vaso 6, and almost a little better with this. So I don't know if there's a difference between the two. I really don't know. I didn't get a hold of Mr. Nickerson to ask him, but I've listened to a ton. Look, I dive into this information to deliver it for you guys, and I hope you guys can appreciate that. And if you do, give the video a thumbs up right now, because I'm trying to deliver you guys stuff that's not out there as much as I can. Because you search for CELLFLO6 or even Vaso 6, and all you're gonna find is about, ingredients information, about surface information, about a bunch of shit. And then what I mean by that is just what it does, the reaction. I know half of you just want to know if it does pumps, just want to know what it does to help you get through your training. But there's another half of you out there that I know you're out there. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're out there, that actually wants to know how these things react and how you can benefit. I mean, overall, type 1 diabetic, I want to know how I'm going to benefit overall. And this is a fantastic ingredient for diabetics and type 1 diabetics to add into their regimen if you have the funds, The pumps on this, or the blood flow on this, very, very good. 2 pills was good. 1 pill was a little too much for me. So now I'm not talking about too much on the pump. So we got pros and cons with everything. So it just depends on what you're after here. This is fabulous to stack with a high stim pre-workout, because it's going to negate some of the effects, some of the bad effects for us who are stim junkies or like stimulation during our training. So it could be a good thing on a health side, which it can be a good thing on a health side, don't get me wrong. But for those that want those effects, like you want the increased heart rate, you want the increased blood pressure for your training, like you're used to it, 1 gram of this totally negated, it brought down the effects, the harsher effects, which is a pro and a con. For those that like those effects, it's a pro for those that could do without those effects, just want the energy and want some health to it as well. So 1 gram would be great with that, but 2 pills on a Stim Junkie pre or any other pre on this is more than enough for vasodilation and pumps. Stacking this, I stacked this with everything: citrulline, nitrogen. I stacked it with glycerol, which is probably the best one, because it gave me the best of both worlds, tight and swole. I mean, just 2 simple products, and gave me personally the best pumps. I mean, they're almost like too tight of a pump to train on, especially doing biceps. I couldn't even bend my arms towards the end of the workout. I had to rest a little bit longer to get the blood flowing out of everything there. The one thing that it didn't work well with for me on its own, so I'm not talking in a stack, and I didn't take it with a pre-workout that had this in it, but I have some grapeseed extract and at 95%, and for whatever reason I'd stacked the 400 milligrams of grapeseed extract with this, and it almost brought down the effects of CELLFLO6. So I don't know, take that with a grain of salt, because grapeseed's always been a great vasodilator for me. Maybe it's too many polyphenols as far as antioxidants when you combine them. I don't know, I'm just guessing here. So I went over blood flow, I went over muscle recovery, I think. I went over endurance. Did I go over? Shit, yeah, I hope so. And overall health. So I hope I delivered enough information on this product for you guys. This is Peak Performance Labs CELLFLO. I'll put a link down below where you can get, or a few links. If I have any discount codes, I'll throw it down in there just in case you're curious about this. In my opinion, if you are suffering from any kind of endothelial dysfunction, cardiovascular problems, this is something you need to try. And that goes with diabetics, type 1 diabetics like myself, those that are stim junkies, that you don't even take this all the time. I took this, this is one thing I forgot. Way I ended up taking this that worked best for me was when I wasn't doing reviews on pre's, because I like to see how the pre's do on their own. I'd take 2 of these with the pre-workout and 1 pill after. That seemed the best for me for recovery and overall endurance building throughout the day. So I want to get that out of the way. But this is a fabulous ingredient for those that are suffering from too much stimulation, too much noradrenaline kicks and stuff like that, to actually throw into your regimen. There are other ingredients that are destroyers of pump destroyers as well. I can think of a couple right now, but we're not doing a review on those right now. We'll come back with some more reviews. But if you do have a question about that, leave the comment down below. I will definitely put it in the comments for you on the 2 other ingredients that are out there. So, CELLFLO6 review, Peak Performance Labs. Hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'm going to get going. We'll see you guys next time on the channel.